Hello and welcome to episode 99 of the Disney Park Princess podcast. I'm your co-host, Sarah.
I'm Heather.
I'm Sharla.
And this week we are going to be wrapping up our series on favorite attractions at Walt Disney World with Animal Kingdom. Yay! Heather's back. How was
Hi.
Cabo?
It was fantastic. I missed you all.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I did, but I didn't mind not being here. Being on a beach wasn't awful.
It looked just terrible.
It was really, really nice to get away. I desperately needed that. And I just, you guys missed traveling. I did. So it was just a quick little long weekend and it felt really, really great to get away. It was beautiful weather, crazy humid.
Yeah.
It was really humid, but really nice. The pool was beautiful. The resort was beautiful. I ate some fantastic food. It was just great.
Oh, good. Well, we're glad you had a good time. We're happy you're back. We missed you.
Good to be back. Happy first day of fall now that we're recording.
Yes.
I'm very excited. I mean, I live in Los Angeles. It's 95 today, but I don't care. It's the first day of fall. It's almost pumpkin spice latte time. This is my time of year.
Carla, is it still warm down by you?
Nope. It's in the low 60s right now.
That's what it is here too.
It may have warmed up.
67.
Yeah, it may have warmed up a little bit, but this morning it was like 57, 58, something like that.
It was 34 when I woke up this morning.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a little too cold. That's too cold for
but
fall.
now it's 67.
It's
warms up
67
really,
here too. High of
Yeah.
only 71 today. So
Yep.
I'm
it's
very jealous. Very, very jealous.
Sweater weather. Ooh, I love sweater weather. Yeah.
I turned on the heater today. We didn't really need it, but you have that, is it going to work for the season kind of thing? So
No, that's not a thing here.
Well, we figured that we'd rather,
It's a thing here.
if we're going to have to pay for service, we'd rather do it now than when it's actually really cold and have to
Got it.
really have it.
Got it. Yeah.
Well, it's 95 and smoky here today.
Oh,
So, jealous of you guys. We don't go outside
Yeah.
right now, but
Yeah. My hearts are definitely going out to everybody that is affected by pick whatever terrible weather situation you have, whether it is the wildfires, whether it is the heat wave, whether it is the flooding and hurricanes in the Gulf of Mexico right now, whether it is the Derico that took place in Iowa. Like 2020 is just a dumpster fire. Can we just all agree to that? Like,
we're so
dumpster
much
fire of the
closer
year.
to it being over though. Like I'm waiting. January 1st has to be like magic reset button, right? Like
it's actually how that works. But
it has to. It has to be a magic reset. Like it's a different year. It's all over now.
Yeah. I keep waiting for somebody to like reboot 2020. Like, can we just something goes wrong in your computer and they're like, well, just restart it. Like, can we try that? Has anybody tried that?
Let's all sit down and at the same time Control Alt Delete.
Right. Exactly.
If it works.
Yeah. If you just Control Alt Delete the planet at this point. Yeah. We need to do something. So anyway, but we're glad you're back. We're glad that you traveled safely. And I know that you've got some videos that you did on what it was like to fly right now and travel right now and everything. So
yeah, and there's one coming up and see what like the resort is like and what the experience is. I will say, I thought it was fantastic, and I kind of want travel to be like this always. There's
Forever.
No traffic. There's no lines. There's no people. I mean, it's glorious, despite the fact that there's a global pandemic. But I mean, if you're smart about it, I felt really safe, and it was really pleasant to fly, actually.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. All right. So we don't have any Disney news, but in typical Disney fashion, we hear that there is some sort of maybe possible announcement happening in
about 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
So I'm sure by the time that you guys are hearing this, it will have been announced.
It will have happened, but we don't know what it is. And, who knows? Maybe I'll get a ding on my phone or something like that if it happens and we can announce it on the podcast. But for right now, we don't really have anything. No particular Disney news right now. So coming up next, we're going to talk about our favorite rides at Animal Kingdom. All right. We were having this conversation before the podcast started that we really love Animal Kingdom. And yet none of us consider it our favorite park. But statistically speaking, like if you add up like the number of things that we love there, it maybe should be.
Yeah, this is what we were saying before. I don't get it. Like, I love the most things at this park, but Epcot is forever my favorite park, and I don't know why. Maybe it's a nostalgia thing. Maybe it's just the atmosphere. And you were saying it's the food. It's definitely the food, but there's a lot of food I like it.
It's always the food for me.
I don't know, but like even I have a trip coming up in about 3 weeks now, and just looking over my plans, like I'm thinking of going one day to Animal Kingdom and 4 or 5 to Epcot. But why? I love so much Animal Kingdom. I don't know why I don't go back more.
Yeah. I don't know. We always talk about the details, this being one of our favorite parks for just sort of details and places to wander. And of course, we're all like rabid animal fans. So that's, you know, any place we can go and see, you know, pick an animal, name an animal. We love it. We're excited about it. If they move it, I get mad. You know, like, fits are pitched, you know. It's just a whole thing. So anyway, all right. So we're doing our top 3 attractions, and we'll paint attraction with a broad brush. I don't care, you know, if it's an attraction to you, it counts as far as I'm concerned for this park. Sharla, why don't you go first?
Okay. My favorite attraction is also my favorite live show at Walt Disney World, and that is Finding Nemo the musical.
Interesting.
People, I feel like it's not that it's not popular, but because it is, but people overlook it. I feel like for Festival of the Lion King, and you shouldn't. Festival of the Lion King is fantastic.
It's better.
I disagree, and that's on your list.
I think there's going to be a fight. I don't know.
That you are welcome to put that one on your list. Finding Nemo the musical is on my list, and I love it because if you know the story of Finding Nemo, you're going to love it. But they add music to it. They add so much emotion to it. It's beautiful. The puppets are incredible, and a lot of times I find myself watching going back and forth between, am I watching the performer or am I watching the puppet each time, because it's different. The puppet for Crush is absolutely amazing, and the music is fantastic. It's done by the Lopez, Robert and what's her name? Kristen Lopez, and they're who did Frozen, and they did Avenue Q, and they are top notch. So I absolutely love it. And it is one of the few things that make me cry every time when one thing happens and I watch it, and I just cry so hard because it's so moving to me. I love it so much.
Yep.
I've only ever seen it once, and I enjoyed it, but I'm not a show person, which is weird because I love theater. But when I'm at the parks, I don't tend to sit and watch shows all that often. So I've only ever seen it once, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, now I have to go next because
I requested to go last.
But also now I have to throw down for Festival of the Lion King because
solid. It's a solid choice. It's a really good show.
Yeah, Festival of the Lion King is going to be first on my list. I am also not a huge show person at Disney. I don't typically make time. It's not a must-see for me other than the Frozen sing-along. I will usually try to make time for, but that's more about me than it is about the performers. But Festival of the Lion King is a must-do for me. I love it. Like Sharla, I cry every single time at one particular point. I love the performers. I think it's funny. That show, the performers in that show, Finding Nemo was amazing they're just so different, really, because it's puppets versus, I don't know.
Well, Festival of the Lion King is not really about the movie at all. It's just the songs and the acts that go along.
Sort of a review, almost.
Yeah, but Finding Nemo is the movie in shortened form, but with songs.
Story driven.
Yeah, they're very different. There's not as much of a story in Festival of the Lion King. Very different.
Yes, but there are tumble monkeys.
Hello. The tumble monkeys are everything in the world.
Monkeys are fantastic. The aerialists, it's the aerialists. That's where I cry every single time. There's audience participation. They get kids out of the audience. I love the huge floats. I love the humor. I love, my God, it's got everything.
Yeah,
but
really
the performers are just so talented and so amazing. They have such incredible voices and are so... It's fantastic. It is to me. And I'm so glad that they I don't remember how long, it was a few years ago now, I guess, where they expanded the theater, made it bigger. You can get more people into it at one time, which is great. Well, not right now, I guess, but in usual, normal, non-pandemic times,
Yeah.
it's fantastic. You know,
And
so,
and it's air conditioned. I mean, I think they
Air
did that a while ago
conditioned,
before
yeah.
they even moved it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. So yeah, so that's my first pick. All right, Heather.
Okay. We were talking before we started recording. I didn't know which way I was going to go. Was I going to go big attraction or was I going to go little details? And I think because we probably are all like, most of my favorite rides are at this park, and I feel like you guys are probably going to say them. And if not, I'll just shout them out at the end anyway. So I'm going to go small things. So my first favorite attraction are the Simmerangs. Do you guys know they're the little monkeys?
The monkeys.
That are, well, I guess they're technically apes, but the apes that are kind of in the middle of the pathway going towards Kali River Rapids and Expedition Everest.
Yeah.
And I could spend a good hour at least just sitting there with my coffee from the little tea kiosk and watch them. I love them. They're so funny. I especially love when they have the babies, because the babies then pick on mom and dad. Mom and dad get so angry and frustrated at them, and then they go swinging from side to side, and I watch them eat the food. And my favorite is when they start like screaming, and you kind of can hear it from across the park. I don't know what it is about them, but I find them so fascinating. I think it's genuinely the first thing I do is I go to the Joy of Tea kiosk that's right there, and then sit for about 20 minutes and just watch them every morning. And while everybody else is running off to Everest or Flights of Passage, I am watching the Simmerangs, and I adore them.
Yeah. And they're in such a great spot in the park too, because they're sort of like right like at a corner, you know, kind of. And I love watching them swing, and it's near one of my favorite little photo ops, which is that temple.
Yes.
I love that. Yeah. That is a fun one. I do like them. I didn't know their name. So Simmerangs.
I think that I'm saying that correctly. I might be mispronouncing it, but it's Simmerangs.
Someone will let us know.
Write in and tell me if I'm saying it wrong. But my favorite thing about Animal Kingdom, and I think this is why it used to, and sometimes still does, have a reputation as a half-day park, is that everything is kind of hidden. It's not out in plain sight. You have to seek out the animals. You have to seek out the attractions. Everything, it's meant to unfold. And for the people who are running past to get to Everest and whatever ride, you're going to miss 99% of this park. And so I like that these guys are kind of right there. They're sort of in plain sight, but if they're not out and about moving around, people are still running right past them. So they're kind of like a nice reminder to just sit a minute.
Yeah.
Take a breath and watch the park. And that's what I love about them.
Yeah. All right, Sharla, what's next?
All right. So next I'm going to kind of combine two attractions into one. And that is the Maharaja Jungle Trek and the Paganini Forest.
Maharaja Jungle Trek was going to be my next one.
Yeah. So both, they're just both so similar in terms of, I mean, you're going to see very different animals. One's in Asia, one's in Africa. But it's a walking path, and you can see all sorts of animals. And the reason I choose this over Kilimanjaro safaris, just in this case, is because you can take your time and really, you can get the study guides. And again, it's less story driven, because Kilimanjaro safaris has that basic story, which is great, but you can do your own thing and really enjoy seeing the animals.
Did you know Maharaja Jungle Trek actually has a story?
Everything at Disney has a story. But what I mean is, you're not like trying to do this one thing to get through it. You can take your time to see everything.
Yeah.
If you look at Maharaja, I like the Maharaja Jungle Trek better than Pangani Forest Exploration.
Agreed.
Not so, like, I love the gorillas and I love all the monkey, like I love all the animals on both, but the reason I like the Maharaja better is because of that backstory. And I'm sure there may be one for Pangani too, but the one for the Maharaja Jungle Trek is that it used to be this beautiful Indian Maharaja's palace, and for whatever reason it was abandoned, and nature is kind of taking it over. So instead of paying attention to the animals, if you take time and look at the surroundings, you're going to notice decaying walls. And like in the aviary where the birds are, if you look,
The aviary is my favorite.
It's beautiful. It used to be the old ballroom. And so if you look, it's got this beautiful marbled floor and these gorgeous fountains. And it's just such beautiful detail.
I didn't know
beautiful.
that story, but that makes so much sense now.
So next time you go through it, remember that it used to be a palace that nature is reclaiming, and you'll notice everything around you.
The visual details in that trek are stunning. Right. I mean, there are some really gorgeous, just a lot of Animal Kingdom, they use sort of an echoing effect. So there will be something in the foreground and something in the background that have very similar silhouettes and things. And so you'll really notice that on the Maharaja Jungle Trek. And I think it just makes it so beautiful. And it's one of those things that rewards you for slowing down.
Yes.
No.
And the same with the Pagnani. I feel like I always pronounce it
I think
wrong.
It's Pangani.
But
could be
the
wrong.
animals there are really fun. It's just a different type of experience, but I really love it. I love both of those. So that's my number 2.
Excellent. All right. This is hard. I have like a list of like 5 here, and I'm really trying very hard. But I think I have to go with Everest for my number 2. Again, it comes down to the details for me. I love the queue at Everest. I think it is one of the best queues that Disney has ever done. It is so fascinating, so informative. But then again, I also love the fact that it has single rider because I can get on the ride really fast and I can just ride it over and over and over and over and over again. I love that it goes forwards and backwards. I love that it's not a loop. It's not like a full inversion, but there is sort of the hint of I think it is such a fun ride. And if they would just free the Yeti, it would be perfect. It would be a perfect ride. But
one day they're trying. I promise you, they're trying.
Well, I was going to also, it was on my list of things, Expedition Everest, but I specifically wrote down Expedition Everest Q.
Q. Yeah, 100%.
And remember, this was one of the very first not interactive so much, but very first detail-oriented cues that Disney did. Mm-hmm. And it's one of the best still. It remains to be one of the best. Yeah.
Agreed. I also really like the shop.
Yes, the shop is excellent.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to ride the ride for some reason and you're needed to wait at a queue, go through it and then you can there's an exit you can take.
Chicken exit.
Yeah. And then you can shop. There's plenty of places around there to sit and wait and watch and
grab a snack.
And you can watch them, and if you are paying close attention, you can see your family come down the hill. That's pretty cool too. But I love that ride. It's so fun.
It's such a great roller coaster. It's unexpected the first time you ride it, which is fun. And then even when you do ride it and you know what's coming, it's still exhilarating. I like when you get to the top, and sometimes the owl's working, sometimes not. I don't know. But I like on a clear day, you get to the top and you can see Tower of Terror, you can see Epcot, you can see Coronado Springs, and it's just like, can we just stay up here for one more minute and just take in the view? It's beautiful.
Yeah, if you're brave enough and you can, look around when you get up there because it's fantastic.
Yeah. I love it. But, oh my gosh, I don't know what to pick for my next one, guys. I have,
dartboard it. Just pick one.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Tree of Life exploration trails.
Oh, that's a good one.
Again, because this is something that I would say 80% of the people don't bother to go to because it's not a major attraction. It's not something thrilling. It's not, it's not an immediate payoff. It's something that's meant to be lazy, right? Wander, discover, explore. So along the trails, you'll find some animals like they have, the wallabies are in there and there's some different birds and all of that are in there. But what I really love is you get up so close to the Tree of Life and you can see just how many carvings are in there, how much detail and how much craftsmanship has gone into creating this, from way back at the beginning of Discovery Island, as you're rushing past, you don't really get a fair perspective of it. Like, it looks cool, it looks great, but until you kind of meander through these trails and you
Mhm.
are up there touching this tree. It's breathtaking. It's
Mhm.
so much artistry went into that. And so I usually take my time, like a good half hour, and just especially when you need quiet time and you need to be away from people, this is the best place to go and just kind of like breathe, you know?
Yep. It's
Yeah.
one of the reasons I actually like the queue for It's Tough to Be a Bug,
Mhm.
is because it takes you through
Some
like the
of them,
roots
yeah.
of the tree. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Well, it's also a big plug for it's in the shade for the most part.
Mhm.
So
Yep. Mhm.
that's a very good
Yep.
point.
Mhm.
It's a big do less, enjoy more kind of
Yeah,
attraction for sure.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right, Charlotte, what's your third?
Okay. I'm going to go a little bit different here too, because, but this is so fun. I love the Wilderness Explorers little scavenger hunt that they have.
Yeah, it's cute.
For the
Super
same
cute.
reason of enjoying the trails and everything. But right as you enter the park and get to Discovery Island, on the right-hand side, there's a little Wilderness Explorers tent. And you can talk to the guides and they will give you a scavenger hunt, and you have to go to the different stations all around and get your badges. And it takes you to see so many different areas and so many different animals that you might not even realize are in there. So it's just a lot of fun, and it's a good way to spend a couple of hours, or even spend 5 minutes and then come back later and do it again or something like that. But you get a little badge and you learn a lot too.
Yeah.
Edutainment.
Edutainment. There you
I
go.
swear I was just going to say that. I feel like it was about to come out of my mouth.
All right. Well, my next one, I had to go with a ride again. I know I'm a little ride focused today, but it is our top favorite attractions, just saying. So Flights of Passage. Flights of Passage has really become, I think it's my favorite ride at Walt Disney World right now. It used to be Everest or Soarin' were sort of like neck and neck, but I think Flights of Passage might have moved just past them. I really love Pandora. I love the land, but I love this ride. There is something just so incredible about the way that they did it, and the technology and the feeling of flying, and I love everything from the ride vehicle. I love the pre-show. I love the queue. I love it's so exhilarating. There's just no other word for it. Exhilarating.
Yeah.
It's an incredible ride. And I get it. If you're a person that is prone to motion sickness, it's probably not going to be your favorite, but I'm not, thank God. I've got enough other stuff going on. God let me get away with not being motion sick. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's a great ride. It's fantastic. Great. I mean, I don't love that there's 3, 4, 5 hour waits for it, but when you can get on with a fast pass or whatever, I love the ride. But I will say, I've said it before, I will say it until I am blue in the face. If you've not ridden it before, your very first ride should not be with a fast pass. You wait in that line. I don't care how long it is, because you miss the amazing queue.
Yeah.
Once you've done it, okay, fine, fast pass all the way. But your first ride should be without a fast pass. But I'm with you. I love that ride. Yeah. It's fantastic.
The last time I rode it, it was like super, super, super early in the morning. And I think I had gone over there literally just for the sheer purposes of getting on the ride or whatever. And I was so early in the queue that they hadn't even opened up the whole queue. So I went through the walkthrough line and still didn't get to see what I wanted to see. I was so frustrated. It's like, no, curse you. Yeah. So I guess you need to be early, but not that early, apparently. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm going to say that the whole area of Pandora is really beautiful. And so I like that area. I did not particularly care for Avatar very much, the movie.
I've never seen the movie. Never, not once.
But it was fine. It was not a bad movie. It was just not my thing. But the area is gorgeous that they did Animal Kingdom. It really is a really cool land, and the details are unbelievable. And so, and don't overlook the Navi River journey, because
that's beautiful too.
Best animatronic in all of Walt Disney World, I think.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, that's a bonus. That one was a bonus.
Good, because I have a bonus too. I'll throw.
All right. Well, Heather, what's your third one?
Okay, my third one. I'm so nervous one of you guys were going to take this, and I'm so happy you didn't. My favorite, honestly, probably one of my top 2 things at Animal Kingdom, but my favorite for the purpose of this list is Rafiki's Planet Watch. Now, how many people don't bother to take the train over there and, oh, it's just a character meet and greet, but you would be wrong. First of all, the train ride is fantastic because you get to see a few of like the barns and a little bit of backstage area, which is just cool anyway. But once you get over to Planet Watch, there's so much to do. There's a petting zoo, which is a lot of fun, but if that's not exciting enough to you, you can do that at home. They have a vet's office there, and a lot of people don't realize that they bring in all of their animals and do their vet exams every day of the week. Yep. Sometimes it's wildlife, sometimes it's, just birds and small animals. One time I saw a tiger getting their routine checkup. When I was working there, they called us over because I was working in the Imagineering trailer across the street, and they're like, guys, we have a lion. Lion's about to get surgery. I got to sit and watch along with the public a lion undergoing surgery. They bring gorillas in there. It's incredible what you can see. So you would never see that in real life. So I always make it a point to go over early in the morning because they usually do their checkups and their surgeries the first half of the day. And what a lot of people don't know is at the tip board in Discovery Island, you can talk to the cast member there and they can tell you what surgeries or procedures are planned for that day. So you can decide if it's something that is exciting for you to go over there and see. There is a station where they make the food for a lot of the animals on property, not all of them, but the smaller ones. So you can see cast members mixing diets for some of the species that they have there and on the safari. There are character meet and greets, and sometimes they'll have cast members that come out with like a turtle or whatever and do demonstrations. But I love the Song of the Rainforest. Have you guys done that?
It's gone though.
Is it gone now?
No, because remember you had us verify on our last trip.
Oh gosh,
it's been gone for a few years, I guess.
I feel like I did it probably like a year and a half ago, so it's probably gone sometime in then. But that was my favorite thing, like when I needed a break and it was too hot and too humid, and you just sit in this room for 7 minutes. The lights turn off. It's in the air conditioning, and you listen to Grandmother Willow tell you about the rainforest and how we're basically killing it because we're awful. And it was so cool. Like, you hear like the panther is walking around behind you and like the bugs come in, and it was the coolest sensation. It was kind of like a sounds dangerous type of thing. It was, you need to make time, like give yourself an hour to get over to Rafiki's Planet Watch and just go check it out. It's incredible.
Yeah. That is a fun one.
Yep, agreed.
I also love the bathrooms there. Have fun facts about poop, animal poop, when you go in. I can throw that out there. It's a lot of fun.
I don't think I've ever used the restroom out there. Now I'm going to have to.
Now you have to. It's fantastic. And sometimes they have like animal sounds and weird stuff piped in. It's fantastic. Okay, I'm going to throw out my bonus one really quick. Dinosaur. Okay. Dinosaur.
Dinosaur was high on my list. And
I don't care how
almost made the cut.
That's like, I adore Dinosaur. I don't care how many times I ride it. I am terrified of it every single time. I know what's going to happen. I don't care. I'm still scared. I know the whole spiel, which I scream at the top of my lungs, and everybody in my car probably hates me, but I don't care. I love Dinosaur.
I love Dinosaur. I'm a big fan. I'm also dying right now because I hope people are watching this on YouTube because Sharla just had a whole thing happen.
Oh my goodness gracious. Don't say what it was because
I'm not going to, but it's just, that's why I keep my door off my office closed.
Well, it's not, if that didn't work out today for reasons, so I had to leave it open today, but
that was pretty funny. Twice, 2 weeks in a row now. You've had
different
co-hosts,
scenarios
going on. Co-hosts, yeah, that was pretty funny. But yes, I agree. I really like Dinosaur.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Another. It's not a fantastic queue, but it's appropriate they were starting to get there.
Yeah, it's not like what it's not an Expedition Everest queue, but for the purpose of the story that they're telling, like it makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
We quote that all the time when we're like, is this our thing, or is this our thing? We're like, not our dino. We say it all the time, and it's
Definitely not our dino.
Yeah.
I still quote Maelstrom constantly in everyday life. When somebody upsets me, disappear.
All right, so that does it. As you can tell, we really love Animal Kingdom. And so in some ways it's actually kind of appropriate. I think that we're doing this as our final park. I don't know why I don't call it my favorite park, because I love it so much, but I also love Epcot so much. So I don't know.
Maybe they can be tied for our favorite park, but I'm with you. Like,
it's
I
pretty
feel
close.
I adore Animal Kingdom so much, but forever Epcot will be my favorite park. I think so.
Yeah, I don't think I would be able to call it a tie. I think Epcot has to stay my favorite. But
unless they ruin Spaceship Earth, and then, well, I don't know.
Look, right now, like Epcot as it is right this second, Animal Kingdom takes top rung, because Epcot's still a bit of a mess right now.
Yeah, and they got rid of Maelstrom, so thumbs down to Epcot.
That's a you thing, not a me thing, but yeah. But anyway, so that does it for episode 99 of the Disney Park Princess podcast. Some things that we're working on right now. If you are our newsletter subscriber, you might have gotten a survey from us. And somebody actually suggested that we talk a little bit about the Patreon program, because they didn't really understand what was included. So we're going to get technical here just for a minute, because I think a lot of people don't understand sort of what is involved with producing a podcast. What are some of the expenses, and, you know, why do we need financial support? Because, I mean, shouldn't, you know, we love to talk about Disney. So shouldn't we just be doing this for free? Well, we have been doing it for free for 2 years. But that's not the goal. The goal is that we would like to make this a company, a real company that generates income and you know, sells things, and, you know, the podcast will always remain free, but Patreon is how we have been able to do this for 2 years. It's how we're able to bring you this content every week, because there are a lot of expenses involved with hosting a podcast. There is website hosting, and there is domain names that you have to own, and there are, you know, if you want transcripts, which is something that we've done sort of on and off, those cost money. All of these things cost money. If you want to send emails to all of your listeners, that costs money. If you want to create graphics for your blog, that costs money. So
hosting the podcast itself
costs money, which is separate from the website hosting. That's a completely different thing. So right now we have Patreon supporters that support us all in total around $300 a month, which is, we're so grateful for. And that is pretty much exactly what it costs every month to do this podcast. Not one of us has made a dime from this. And I mean, not a dime. It has not paid for a single trip we have ever taken. It has not paid for a pair of Mickey ears we've ever worn, like nothing. Anything you see us doing, any trips or anything like that, that is completely out of our own pockets. Every bite we take, every drink we drink, we're paying for that.
Now I'm
not
gonna have
the
that
podcast.
Police song in my head.
Every breath you no, see, we can't afford that. We can't afford that. So yeah, we can't. Even the music costs money. That's the other thing. Our theme song costs money. So that's why we ask for your support, because as much as we love doing this, right now it's just a very expensive hobby, and that's not a sustainable model, particularly in this economy. So we are so incredibly grateful to those of you that are helping to support us, because we know that it's a difficult economy for everybody right now. We know that so many of you, like us, have had your incomes significantly impacted. We are travel agents. Heather and Sharla are still travel agents. I am, to be 100% honest, transitioning out of a travel agent role right now. But, you know, it is what it is. We have all lost almost 100% of our income this year. Almost 100% of our income this year.
Yes.
So we get it. We understand that times are tight. And so we're so grateful. So if you are a Patreon subscriber, you're interested in being a Patreon subscriber, You can do it starting at $5 a month. And what you get for that is bonus content, about an hour of extra podcast content every single month. That is content that is produced just for you and is only available to our Patreon supporters. You have access to a private Facebook group. It's not super active right now, but
it could be if you join.
It could be more active. And then depending on the different levels, you get different perks. So people that are at our higher perks, the $10 and $15 a month, they get exclusive emails. An exclusive email from us once a month that is a tip or a trick or something that we don't share anywhere else. So it's not something you'll find on our blog. It's not something you'll find on our podcast. It is something that is just for our supporters.
My true top number one favorite thing at Animal Kingdom. I didn't say because it went out as a tip to our top Patreons.
That's right. There you go. Patreon subscribers also get a discount on our merchandise. So purchasing merchandise is another way that you can help support us. If you can't support us financially, we totally understand. And again, this podcast, for as long as we're doing it, is going to remain free. You can leave us a review on iTunes. That super duper helps. You can share our content. You can tell your friends. You can you can comment. You can share on our social media. All of those things help increase our reach, help drive people to our blog. More people see our blogs, the more people see our ads, the more we can continue to monetize. And the more we can continue to monetize, the more we can provide for you. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, if you will, you help us, we get to do more stuff that you get to consume. So I hope that makes sense to people. Nobody likes talking about money. It's not a fun topic. And so we don't like asking for money. That's not a fun part of our job. But it is the reality if we want this to continue. So like I said, different ways to help us out: purchase merchandise, join Patreon, share our content, just interact with us on Instagram. Make sure that you're following us on Instagram and on Facebook and on Pinterest. And just by interacting with those things, that helps us as well.
Comments and likes are huge because
they make a big difference.
Again, to get technical, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, they're all about the algorithm, not so much what you're sharing. It's okay, if more people are liking this and more people are commenting on it, then Instagram or YouTube, for example, will say, hey, I should pay attention to this, and send it to more people and say, hey, maybe you should look at this. Suggestions for you. So that helps a lot, believe it or not.
Yeah, those things make a really, really, really big difference for us. So lots of different ways you can help. Some of them cost money, but not all of them do. And of course, just listening to us every week helps us out. And so we're so glad that you're listening. We're so glad that you're here.
And I love the community we formed. It's like a little family over there on our Facebook group. So if you haven't joined yet, or if maybe you're afraid to say something, it's just so much fun. I feel like I know so many of our listeners now just because of what they're putting in the group, and they're sharing their trips, or, oh, look, I've started this Disney project at home. It feels like a little family, and I love that.
Yeah, and we do have a Facebook group that is available. We have one that is just for Patreon supporters, but we also have one that is available for anybody that listens to us. And it's a really fun bunch. We've got, I think, 500 and something members right now. It's continuing to grow. We're just getting new requests every day, and it's great. If you are a Disney person, and I think for a lot of people, sometimes we feel like we're the only Disney person in our friend group, or the only Disney person in our family. And it's a little like your secret shame. We're it's a little like the people that watch Dr. Pimple Popper, it's your secret
What if you're a
shame.
Disney fan and you watch Dr. Pimple Popper?
Okay, I used to love Dr.
You watch
Pimple
it?
Popper.
How did I not know you watched that show too?
I can't watch her show.
I don't watch the show very often, but the social
Instagram
media.
But same thing. But
the show is too gross for me. But the social media.
So now we know what our Patreon extra this week is going to be. Is what are our secret shames that we're following on social media and watching on TV that we're not sharing with people. That's it. Now it's official. That's what our Patreon extra is.
I mean, it very likely could have been that anyway.
Yeah. So anyway. Thank you for listening. Thank you for writing in. even sometimes if it's to write in to tell us something that we don't necessarily want to hear, we still appreciate you letting us know why you're not listening to us anymore. Sometimes we're okay with that. Oftentimes, if you're writing in to tell us why you're not listening anymore, we're okay with it. We're not for everybody, and we get that. There are a million Disney podcasts out there, and if we're not a good fit for you, but somebody else is, we get that too. You know, I know, and I just need to address this because it's been bothering me. We still get a lot of emails about that we're not the Passporter podcast. We're not trying to be. We're not. We're not. And I get it. I get you miss Jennifer. I miss Jennifer too. Well, I don't miss her because I talk to her all the time. But Jennifer is off and doing amazing things and is super supportive of us. But we're not trying to be Passporter. The books are not coming back. Please stop asking. We're not going to recreate Passporter. That's not who we are, and it's not who we're trying to be. And I understand that everybody misses it, but it's 2 years later. This is who we are. And I couldn't be happier to be doing this with Heather and Sharla. And I'm so incredibly grateful that they were willing to sort of come on board when I was like, hey, guess what? I bought a website. Want to join? Incredibly grateful for that. So, all right, that's it. That's my rant for the day. Next week is episode 100. We are working on a new giveaway. We're coming up with some fun stuff for that. There's going to be a new form. We're going to announce the giveaway on episode 100. We're not drawing the name on episode 100. We're just going to announce sort of what it is. So stay tuned. Thanks for joining. And if you're a Patreon subscriber, stay tuned for that. And we'll talk to you next week. Bye guys.
Bye.